What's going on? Welcome back. We got another episode Off the Schneid rolling. We're going to draft tonight, obviously, but we're going to get into a couple things before we rip a draft. Namely, we talked about the roster construction kind of, I don't want to call it a tool, but the roster construction sheet that we kind of went over last episode. We're going to get back into that a little bit. We kind of fine-tuned a couple little things there. So we're going to pop that open, and then we'll get into some other stuff that we're going to, quickly touch on. So kind of like I said, fine-tuned it a little bit to get to where we want to go. So basically working backwards from the 10 rounds. So these are the structures that I like the most through 10 rounds. We got 2-4-4-0, 2 quarterbacks, 4 running backs, 4 wide receivers, 0 tight ends. One of the best, if not the best, literally the second best, besides completely just hammering running back early, 1-5-4-0, right, is the best advance rate, 19%. But literally the second best advance rate, 18.62%, 2-4-4-0. And they're drafted at only a 2% clip, essentially. So that's definitely where I want to focus at getting to after 10 rounds right there. 2-3-5-0, 2 quarterback, 3 running back, 5 wide receivers, 0 tight ends. Again, advances at about an 18% clip. 3% of teams drafted are going to be of that structure. So that's where I want to get to as well. And then the last one, less important, I suppose, but it does advance, more than its peers, we'll call it, right? So 2-2-6-0. So that would be like I think that's basically a hero running back, just ripping wide receivers, pissing yellow a little bit, and getting your 2 quarterbacks. So 2-2-6-0, less than 1% of the time that's being drafted, but it advances almost 17% of the time. So again, outpaces its peers in this whole area. 17% right there, 17%, right? So it's right there with, all of these other kind of structures, but the advance rate's a little bit better, even than some of these 3 running back builds, right? So those are the kind of 10 round structures I want to get to. And then how do we start that through 6 rounds? The easiest ways, I guess these structures, these builds all are possible to get you there, kind of a thing. So it's obviously 0 tight ends. Maybe this 0-2-4-0 could work, but that's not what I'm focusing on. Basically, it's a 1-0-5-0. So 1 quarterback, 5 wide receivers through 6 rounds. And again, they advance higher than their peers. And only 1% of teams are drafted through 6 rounds at this, structure, 18%. So that's definitely something I'm focused on. 1-1-4-0, another one, the highest, literally the highest advance rate, almost 19% out of any, structure through 6 rounds, which is pretty awesome, obviously. And then less than 7% of teams are drafted with that structure, 1-1-4-0. So that's definitely another focus. And then 1-2-3-0 is the highest, the most, it's the most common structure through 6 rounds kind of thing. And then it, again, advances at a very high clip, second highest on this list. But again, it's the most common, 1-2-3-0. So you'd have to get different in other ways, kind of a thing, but it's still a great way to kind of start. So 1-2-3-0, 1-1-4-0, 1-0-5-0 are the 3 structures through 6 rounds that I kind of want to focus on. And again, I am drafting early tight end, so I'm not going to just stay super firm on these. I will kind of, deviate a little bit when it makes sense, but that's kind of where I want to get to. And then again, like through 6 rounds and then through 10 rounds, any of these starts are going to allow me to get to any of these starts through 10. So that's kind of what I'm focusing on. I wanted to kind of come back to that and just kind of put a bow on it a little bit. That's what I'm focusing on in, BBMs, just in Best Ball Mania draft strategy. That's kind of what I'm focusing on. So take it, don't, whatever you want to do. Hopefully it helps. Hopefully that makes sense to you guys. If you like it, wonderful. There you go. So we're going to get out of that and we're going to jump over to Underdog, and then we're going to check on the chat quickly. So let's jump into Underdog. We've got Stephen Hines in here. How you doing, man? Yeah, we're doing great. We're doing well. The DFS deal in Alberta. So yeah, this is something I did want to touch on. Let's just get into it. Chances are pretty high that this stream is gonna be shut down by these rules. So that really sucks. That I'm probably gonna lose Underdog in Alberta. Almost certainly, it seems like to me. I don't really see any way around it. There's been no official announcement yet. I'm just literally sitting here, feel like I'm waiting for the shoe to drop. And I feel like Underdog's gonna say, after trying to fight with the government, whatever, after trying as best we can, we have no choice but to pull out, and we'll be done on July 9th or whatever it is. It's either the 9th or the 12th, something like that. I think I have the email from DraftKings kicking around somewhere. I might have deleted it in anger. So maybe it's gone. But I'm literally just sitting here. Yeah, I feel like I'm just waiting for the shoe to drop and have it kind of rug pulled on me. So nothing's been announced yet, but I literally think it's gonna be, yeah, we tried, we're pulling out in 3 days, 2 days, whatever, and you're fucked. So pretty unhappy about that. So yeah, Hartman's in here. What's up, man? July 12th, we have a celebration stream. More like a funeral, I think is what that would be. More like a funeral stream, I feel like. Maybe it's on my other. I'm going to see if I can find the email from DraftKings just to try to verify the date of when this is going to happen. Yeah, reminder, shutting down in Alberta. Reminder, you're fucked. That's so annoying. Ahead of its launch on July 9th. So cease operating July 9th. This is for DraftKings, and this is for DraftKings DFS as well as Best Ball. And Underdog operates under the exact same kind of framework and verbiage. It really just revolves around verbiage. And like I said, DraftKings revolves around, or Underdog revolves around the same verbiage and the same talk track. So yeah, July 9th is when it's probably going to drop. I feel like I'm literally just sitting here waiting for it to happen. So I'm trying to get as much volume as I can, kind of thing. And then I'm definitely not going to be able to stream anymore. That's dead. And then I'm essentially just going to reach out to Underdog and say, hey, like, what happens if I win? I know a lot of people just cross state lines. They draft, they enter slows, go back to the illegal state, and they draft, and there's not an issue. But I want to make sure that that's, I don't want to sit there and like win Best Ball Mania or something stupid and have issues with the funds. So I'm going to have to, I don't know, go down a rabbit hole of figuring that out and see if that's possible. And if it is, then that's probably what I'll be doing for the rest of the summer draft season and see how it goes. I'm about 2.5 hours from the British Columbia border. So if that is the case and I can do that, then I'm going to drive to BC, enter a bunch of slows, come home, do my drafts, take it from there. I don't know how it's going to go, but we'll see. Hopefully that doesn't happen. I mean, I highly doubt it. The one thing that I'm kind of like just hoping maybe could be a thing is that, big DFS, big fantasy, big betting DraftKings kind of threw their weight around saying, oh, you guys are changing it. Okay, we're pulling out. And there's some changes that happen. Things get sped up a little bit. I don't know. And then it doesn't happen and Underdog stays. We'll see. But I just am sitting here waiting for the shoe to drop, I feel like. And then we're going to be kind of screwed. So we'll see. Yeah, that's the thing that kind of pisses me off as well, is it takes away any sort of, basically what it's killing is best ball, DFS, poker, online poker, DFS, best ball, where you do have to use a little bit of your brain. There's still a crazy amount of luck in it. Don't get me wrong. Right. But you do have to use your brain. There is strategy. There's stuff you can do to hopefully, improve your chances of winning, but they're okay with putting $100, $1,000 a hand on blackjack, an internet, online blackjack table, or spinning roulette wheels, or doing slots on your computer, that's okay. But we can't do DFS and best ball and poker. Like this, it just makes no sense to me. And I think, again, the biggest problem is it's a verbiage thing. But that's, legal jargon is kind of what ties up the world, essentially, and unfortunately. So it is what it is, but I don't know. It is what it is. It pisses me off as well. Obviously, I'm the one getting fucked over here. It's a real pain in the ass, and we'll see what happens. Celebrate that the stream happened, not that it's ending. Yeah, I mean, I've been doing this for like almost 6 years, so I don't know if that's something to celebrate, that it's like, oh, I'm so glad I got to do it. It's more like the death of it kind of hurts my feelings. But new collectors in here, how are you doing, man? You're good. Started here. Your takes are great. Always look forward to your streams. Appreciate that, man. I appreciate that. Maybe I'll still do some things. I don't know. We'll see. Maybe I'll come on and do some slow draft picks. Maybe other people would have me on their channel. I don't know. We'll figure it out. I'm sure I'm not disappearing completely, but I don't know. I just don't know it is what it is. And there's nothing I can do. And like I said, I'm just sitting here waiting for the shoe to drop. But let's get into what I wanted to get into as well. That first little piece talking about structure. And then let's go through some exposure. I'm at 100 drafts post NFL draft, right? 183 in the big board season. That's almost maxing everything. There's that last tournament that went on that I didn't jump into at all. But since the NFL draft, we are at 100. So I thought it was the perfect time to take a look at some exposures. I have the 1 Frenchie 4 single entry, 54 Best Ball Manias. That's another thing I'm trying to focus on with Best Ball Mania. If this does happen and I am no longer able to, fast draft at the very least, or draft at all, I want to get as many BBMs as I can, kind of a thing. 10 pit bulls, that's maxed out. The single entry Frenchie 7, the 7 in the pointer. I think I have the pointer slows going to max that. The Frenchie 3, which was a double entry, 4 entry dash rounds a max. I maxed the poodle, maxed dog, the hound dog. So I'm maxing everything that's like single to 20 max kind of a thing is definitely where I want to live as far as max entering. And then BBM is kind of, I think I'm going to max enter, but we'll see what happens with this whole drafting situation. But let's get into the overall exposures. I'm not going to narrow it down just to Best Ball Mania. Let's take a look at the guys that I like and potentially don't. JT's in the house. What's up, man? How you doing? Life got busy as hell in June, slowing down, trying to get back to catch up with the boys' streams. Appreciate you, man. Life's always busy. So my stream might die in about 10 days. So yeah, get it while the getting's hot, essentially. Not by choice. I would keep streaming, but I might have drafting taken away. So that's yeah, that's fun. No Cam Scatteroo, shocking. You haven't seen it yet. You haven't seen my exposures yet, Jeff. Let's take a look at the exposures. Let's start with the quarterbacks. Click that fast so no one saw. Zoom in, take a look. Jane Daniels, so through 100 drafts, obviously, right? Jane Daniels, my number 1 quarterback. No shocker there. I'm a huge believer in Jane Daniels this year. Same thing with Trevor Lawrence. I like that. Joe Burrow, huge on him. Dak makes a lot of sense. I have a lot of CeeDee Lamb. I have a lot of Jamar Chase. I have a lot of Parker Washington, my guy. I have a lot of Terry McLaurin. So all that makes sense. Jackson Dart is kind of the secondary option if Dak goes a little earlier with the Lamb situation with the Giants and Dallas game. So that's not surprising that it's this high up, but really it's these 4 that I'm really focused on, all over 20% drafted. Definitely all guys that I really like. 2 run around a little bit quarterbacks and 2 kind of more pocket quarterbacks. So that's interesting. Dart, Purdy, Caleb. I'm surprised I have only 11% Caleb. I think that's much higher in BBM. That's interesting. Goff at 10%, Lamar at 10%, Cam Ward, Tyler Shuck, Baker. You won't see Herbert's a little bit lower than I like. I might pull that up. Josh Allen, only 6%. That's another guy I'm starting to pick up shares of a little bit, especially when he falls. I definitely want to get some shares as he falls a little bit there. Willis, Patrick Mahomes, not a ton. Darnold, sure. Yeah, Drake May, not a ton. So that's interesting. Let's take a look at the running backs. Dylan Sampson, 32%. That's not surprising. I like Sampson quite a bit with just where he goes in the draft. His bye week is a bit of a thing. I've been doing a lot of zero RB stuff, which you may or may not know, but a lot of zero RB type stuff. So he's the perfect kind of candidate on those types of teams. Monungai, same thing. I like Monungai a lot. Braylon Allen, there you go. Tracy Algier. That's actually a pretty easy common theme just by looking at this. Clearly, I'm drafting a lot of zero RB. Like, I think that this is just the most telltale sign that I'm doing a lot of zero RB, which I've never done or been in the past. I've never been a zero RB drafter, but this year I think it's the meta strategy personally. So obviously, look at these names. It's pretty clear that I'm drafting zero RB because I'm taking 2 or 3 of these guys on almost every zero RB type of a build, right? Tracy Algier, you got Emmett Johnson, Keaton, Mike Washington, Kamara, Chase Brown. I like more than consensus out there for sure. So he's definitely my highest exposed, first, second, third round type of a player here. Harvey, I think, is underpriced a little bit. I think he's getting disrespected a little too much. 12 touchdowns last year. I still think that there's a place for Harvey, again, especially in these zero RB type of builds. Kenny Gainwell, same thing. So really, like, outside of Chase Brown, these are all zero RB targets, right? Jalen Warren, Jordan Mason, Ollie Gordon, 12%. That's interesting. Dowdle, Genty's the next guy that's not like a zero RB type of a target and at 12%. So that's pretty telltale of how I'm drafting this year strategy wise, right? Let's go to the very bottom and let's see who I'm fading that maybe I shouldn't be. One share Giddens, one share Corum. That needs to go up in just one BBM. I need to get a little more Corum. He does go a little bit higher than I'd like though. So I don't know. I think his price needs to go down a tad. We'll see where that lands. But I do think I need to get a little more Corum than just one share, one draft. Krosky Merritt, I'm fine with that, but he's draftable at times. Malik Davis sighting. That's interesting. I don't think he's dead as the RB2 for Dallas personally. Woody Marks, maybe get a little more Woody Marks here and there. Again, zero RB type of a running back, so I think I could click him a little more. Jeremiah Love, I'm lower on than most where he goes. Again, I'm drafting wide receivers around that time, but I probably should jack that up a little bit from 1%. Pacheco, I don't necessarily care about that one. Tajay, I'm not so upset about that. Charbonnet, I'm fine. Halani, sure. JT, I have a tough time clicking JT in the first round just because Amon-Ra and CeeDee Lamb are always my clicks there. And if not, maybe a McCaffrey if he falls, then Taylor. I got him in a BBM at like 9, so that was a pretty easy click there, but I'm just not clicking his name a ton. Bucky, Bashal Tootin, Gibbs. If I'm first overall, I need to start taking Gibbs every time, where I was taking Jamar Chase at times. So if I'm 2 or 3, 4, you can still get Jamar Chase, but Gibbs isn't falling past 2 at the very latest, right? So I should probably focus on him a little more. Price, I'm okay with that. He goes a little higher than I'd like, but I take him when he falls. Brian Robinson, Achane is kind of a tougher click where he goes. Same with Kenny Walker as well. Cook, though, these guys can get a little bit higher. Saquon, I definitely need to juice up a little bit. 6%. Kyron, I'm okay with that. Montgomery, I think I need to click it a little more of. He's someone that I definitely like where he goes. Yeah, we're all right there. Okay, that's the RBs. Let's take a look at the wide receivers. Wandale, I think, is just the biggest smash where he goes. I really, really like clicking Wandale Robinson's name where he goes 41% of the time, and that's not going to change. I could see it potentially going up. Jeremy Bernard, I think, is still a very good click. Again, where he goes, 40% of the time I'm clicking his name. I like that. Terry McLaurin, 31%, still the best 4th-round pick in my opinion. Jalen McMillan, Jalen Knoll, Jalen Naylor, Ricky P, Parker Washington, CeeDee Lamb. I like all these. I'm not unhappy with anything here. Jalen Knoll's an 18th round click, so I'm happy to keep clicking them there. I do need to balance Trey Tucker, which I've started to do a little bit with Jalen Naylor. draft Trey Tucker instead of Naylor. They go right at the same spot kind of thing. So where I had been taking Naylor, I should be mixing in a little more Trey Tucker, and I have been lately. So that might shift a little bit. I like Ricky P. I like Parker Washington a lot. Lamb's great. Antonio Williams, I don't think I need to be clicking that much. I could probably pull back on that, and I probably will. Malachi Fields, another 18th round click that I love, 20%. T. Higgins, I like that. 20% T, I like that. Jacoby Myers, I think, is still underrated where he goes. Ted McMillan, again, I think he's a little bit underrated. I think he goes in the same spot that he did as a rookie, but in my opinion, there's a ton more value there now. I was drafting him pretty much 0% last year as a rookie. Now he goes in the exact same spot, 1,000-yard season. What was it for touchdowns? 7 touchdowns, 1,000-yard season. I think he could be like that Mike Evans in this offense. I think that's basically what he is for Dave Canales. And Mike Evans, I think that had 1,312, I believe, when Dave Canales was the offensive coordinator for the Bucs. I think that could be McMillan. Obviously that kind of rests on Bryce Young's shoulders a little bit, but if he can take that next step, Tet's going to definitely be the beneficiary of that. Jamar Chase, love that. I want to be at least right around there, way over the field on Jamar Chase. He's my number 1 ranked. I was taking him at 1. I'll probably start taking Gibbs a little more, but anytime at 2, 3, 4, anywhere else, I'll be taking Jamar Chase 100% of the time, which might lead to me being a full fade on Bijan, which would be interesting. We'll see how that goes. Amon-Ra, 17%. I like that. I'm happy with that. I do need to close that up with CeeDee Lamb a little bit, which I have been doing again. Dunze, happy there. Flournoy, DJ Moore, Pickens, McConkey. Maybe get a little more McConkey, though I kind of have slowed a little bit since big board season. Denzel Boston, I like that. Chris Olave. Chris Olave is kind of giving me the creeps these days. 100 catches last year, 1,000 yards, 9 touchdowns. Had a career season, had a really, really good season. He's been pretty steady. He's been solid. I loved him as a rookie. It's just, there's a lot going on there with the concussion stuff, the blood clot stuff, right? It's kind of giving me the heebie-jeebies a little bit right now drafting him. Jalen Coker, I like. Coleman, I definitely have slowed on. Rice, that's fine. Worthy, that's fine. Neighbors, I like that. London, that's fine to be at the field. I'm fine with Flowers at the field. Igbuka, need to click a little bit more here and there. There's that Trey Tucker. I'm trying to get a little bit closer to Jalen Naylor. Tate's fine. Pittman's fine. Jaden Reed, that's fine. Jameson Williams. Yeah. Let's go to the very bottom now. And let's see who we're fading. DK Metcalf. I think I got him like 20 picks past ADP. That's the only time I'll be taking DK. Cooper Kupp in a pointer or whatever that is, $7. Trey Harris once. Skylar Bell once. Cortland Sutton in a pointer once. Nico once. Brian Thomas Jr. once. Yeah. A little bit lower than Brian Thomas Jr., that's for sure. I see him as being the 3rd most productive wide receiver in that offense, personally. Tisla, a couple times, maybe once, $8. Jacoby Lane. Ayuk, I got way past ADP in a Commanders build where I needed wide receiver. So it was like twist my rubber arm, I guess. I'll fall on that sword. Adonai Mitchell, Wicks. Garrett Wilson, I'm much lower on than most. Devonta Smith, I'm lower on than most, which everyone seems to love Devonta Smith right now. Not really this guy personally. His price is kind of out of control, if you ask me. Jack Besh 1 time, Caleb Douglas 1 time. I think Quentin Johnston's price is out of control at this point. Ted Hurst, Surratt, I like that. Cooper a couple times. Jennings a couple times. Debo, like the Diggs Debo thing. I think there's another free agent wide receiver I might be forgetting. No, Jennings went to Minnesota, but with Debo and Diggs, I'm having a hard time clicking their names. The longer it goes into the summer, I feel like there's less of a chance for them to, succeed and have a large role in whatever offense they go to. Just sitting there, not practicing with the team, not at OTAs, not at minicamp, None of that. Even if they come in, camp's only like 3 weeks away and they're still free agents. So that's interesting. Could be waiting for an injury. And that also doesn't necessarily bode well for them coming in and succeeding. So I've kind of had a hard time clicking Debo and Diggs right now. But there you go. AJ Brown, I think his price is a little high in my opinion. Pierce, just again, I think he's a fine click, I suppose. And as he falls, I do take him if he falls, but he needs to for me to take him. Goes in a weird range where wide receiver is not exactly what I'm looking for. A couple clicks to Jahan Dotson, Judy, JSN. I need to get a little bit more of. Jefferson's down here. I'm okay with all of that. Maybe more JSN. A little more Devonta maybe, though that's kind of come up a little bit recently. Let's take a look at the tight ends. If there's anybody you want me to pull up, just let me know in the chat and we can pull them up. I'll take a look. I see a couple comments in there. Take a look in 2 secs here, but take a look at these tight ends. We got Isaiah Likely, 22%. Likely Okonkwo, Freiermuth, Strange. Makes sense. I'm typically drafting late tight ends, so that's all of these guys. Tyler Warren, I was putting a bit of a focus on getting my exposure up on Tyler Warren lately, and it's done wonders for me. So that's good to see. Eli Stores, I gave my take on Eli Stores last episode. If you want to hear that again, I can give it to you. But I think it's very much similar to Terrence Ferguson. Terrence Ferguson, Eli Stores, I think they're going to play very similar roles in their offenses, in their respective offenses. So I like Stores quite a bit. I do like Terrence Ferguson as well, but it just makes sense. A lot of these, 3 late tight end kind of guys are all my highest owned. So I like that. And then Trey McBride, 11% loved him. Like I said, and Bowers there as well. Like I said, I am mixing in some early tight end because I think these are all smash plays. I just I don't want to be super over the field. Those are over the field numbers, but I don't want to be up here in the 20% of those second round tight ends, that sort of a thing. Otten's there again. There's Ferguson with Stores, so they're close. But again, a lot of 3 tight end type of guys at the top. At the bottom, yeah, I mean, Kincaid, I guess, is the guy fading down here. Tucker Kraft a little bit. I think his price is a little high. I don't think it's priced in enough. So I do want to click him a little bit. And again, I'm not typically clicking tight end in that point in the draft, but yeah, Kittle as well. I'll probably get a little more Kittle going. Laporta, I'm a little lower on than most. Pitts, I'm not trying to get overweight. But there you go. So that's through 100 drafts so far. 54 Best Ball Manias. Wan'Dale Robinson, Jeremy Bernard are my top 2. That kind of makes sense. Let's see what it was quickly just for early season. Jeremy Bernard, number 1. Katron, Emmett Johnson, Eli Stowers. I like that. Terry McLaurin. Jalen McMillan, Jaden Daniels, a couple guys that I'm continuing to draft. Let's jump into a Best Ball Mania. If you want to jump in with me, 20-second clock. We are in, waiting on 8. Jump in if you want to jump in. Yeah, I hope not to, but I'm pretty positive I'm going to be screwed, and it's going to die here. I'm just waiting for Underdog to announce it, essentially, is how I feel. I just am pretty sure that there's just no other way around it as far as everything that I've seen, everything that I've read. It's the exact same verbiage and framework as DraftKings. So I don't see how they continue to operate. So I think we're screwed. Omega's in here. What's up, man? Appreciate you. Fantasy Dog coming in. Number 6 like. Hopefully you got a few more likes than that. Hit that like button if you don't mind. If you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe button though. We might be on the downfall in about 10 days. What's good, Shy? Soon before UD gets banned in Alberta. Appreciate that, man. Yeah, it's probably dead. It's probably dead. And that's really, really, really sad and frustrating. So again, as soon as it gets announced, essentially, I'm going to go down the rabbit hole of figuring out how it works with slow drafting and all that kind of stuff. I don't know. I know a lot of people do it, but I want to be 100% positive that it's all good and known and there's no issues. like, I don't know how this works. Like, realistically, if I'm being honest, the only real hold up or tie up I see there being potentially is I don't think Underdog gives a shit. Like, they would say basically probably you have to physically, your body, your human frame has to be inside of a legal province, state, whatever. So I can go to BC and deposit and draft and slow draft and withdraw and all that kind of stuff. So let's do a hypothetical. I win Best Ball Mania, right? I win Best Ball Mania 7. So the hypothetical becomes, if I win right with the 54, 55 right now that I've already drafted, if one of those win, then there shouldn't be any issues. But let's say I win on a slow drafted one where I go to BC, enter a bunch of slows, come back to Alberta, do the picks in Alberta, win Best Ball Mania. And then I think Underdog would say, go to BC, do the withdrawal, and then I would withdraw through PayPal. So obviously no one has really any control over that. So then the withdrawal comes through, then $2 million American hits my bank account. What happens then? That's where I think there's obviously going to be questions from the Alberta government, I would imagine, and my bank potentially. Like, we'll kind of take it from there. I'm going to have to, I don't know. That's what I want to find out from Underdog, is like, what happens, and is there any issue on the Underdog side? Then I want to talk to basically, I want to talk to like a tax lawyer, essentially. When I play poker tournaments, there's obviously people go to the United States, to Vegas, to play in the World Series of Poker. Then they come back to Canada. We're not taxed on those winnings. Obviously, you are taxed in the States, and they do it at the cage. So you have to come back to Canada, and then you have to recoup those tax dollars. And that's where this lady comes in. She does it, blah, blah, blah. That I'm going to try to get a hold of that person and say, hey, what do you know about this? How does this work? What's going to happen, essentially? That's what I'm going to go down the rabbit hole of, figuring out all that kind of stuff. When I feel like the announcement comes that Underdog is ceasing to operate in my place of residence. So we'll see. We will see. Frustrating times. Frustrating times. Looks like we're already uploaded our exposures on the old Best Ball overlay. I can speak from my experience in Kenya. You would have to drive to BC to cash out. I figure like that's fine. I could obviously drive myself to BC, go on Underdog, cash it out, go on PayPal, get all that done. That's easy, obviously. The problem then becomes, like, because those dollars were accrued through an illegal gambling site. And I'm not going to lie about that. If we're talking about $2 million to the to the Canadian government, you know what I mean? Like, so I don't know. That's all stuff that I'm going to try to figure out. Like, I'm not worried about driving to BC for 2.5 hours to enter tournaments, cash out, deposit, blah, blah, blah. I'm not worried about that. I'm worried about the ramifications if I should win, which is obviously, like, exceptionally unlikely. It's just, I want to know before, I get that far. We're going to do Genty here. Because I'm below the 8% in Best Ball Mania, so I do want to get that up over. And then let's see who we have him paired with here. Nothing with Cook. I would take Cook if he's still there. He's gone. Nothing with HN, London. I'm going to do something a little freaky, though. I'm going to take Jeremiah Love. I'm going to pull him way up. Do the week 17 thing with running backs. I kind of like that in poor offenses. So a little RB week 17 correlation, I think, is kind of fun. It's definitely unique. So let's do that. I said I want to get a little more Jeremiah Love. So let's do it. I think that's a fun way to start. Ask Jacob Sanderson have to deal with the same thing, right? He's a lawyer. Yeah, maybe. He lives in Manitoba, though, not Alberta. So very different province. 2 over. It's a ways away. it's like a I don't know, like maybe 8-hour drive away. Maybe 10 is how far away Manitoba is. So yeah. But he might know regardless. I might reach out to him. I wouldn't expect him to even get back to me, but you never know. We're definitely not like friends in the space. He doesn't know me. So, but yeah, maybe I'll reach out to him, see what he has to say, what he knows. So, which is weird. So that's another thing I've been talking about with just, I guess my wife gets to listen to me rammer on about it because none of my friends are real big, gamblers like I am or best ball guys or whatever. Shout out BBG. But our lottery system it's called Western Canada Lottery Corp, WCLC. And then there's AGLC, Alberta Gaming Liquor Commission, right? So our lottery is through WCLC. I'm from the Yukon, and that's WCLC. So WCLC has the lottery rights essentially for the Yukon. I don't know about NWT and none of it. Maybe they do. I don't know. I don't really care. Alberta, and then definitely Manitoba, which is where Sanderson is from. And that's where the headquarters are of WCLC, is in Winnipeg, Manitoba. But this is only affecting Alberta. So I don't really know how that all works. That's another thing that I kind of have a question about, is how does that work if we're all under WCLC? Is it just an online thing? I don't know. I have no idea how it works, to be honest. But anyways, that's another little nugget that I've kind of been thinking about. My bad, Canadian geography isn't good. Fair enough. Many of the American persuasion don't know much about Canada, unfortunately. Open up a bank account in front of you with your doing slow drafts, $100 savings account. Actually, Golden is much closer than Fernie, so it'd be Golden is where I'm going. Field, if I can get away with it, but Field is tiny. So it'd be tough to even get an internet connection in Field, if I'm being honest with you. But let's get into these couple picks and then we'll keep chatting about it. We got Travis Etienne right there, who does pair up week 60 with Jeremiah Love. That'd be kind of fun. Mix in a kind of power RB kind of situation. Let's do that. Let's do that with Etienne. I like that. That's kind of fun with the RBs. I think all those defenses are gettable from the running back position as well. So I kind of like playing off of that. I think that's kind of fun. Definitely going to go with a wide receiver here, though. Definitely going with a wide receiver here. I think we'll just go Ladd. Let's go Igbuka. Here. Pairs up with my New Orleans week 15. That's kind of fun. Gives me a quarterback option, I suppose. So let's do that. So yeah, Golden would be the closest large enough town in BC. It's about 2.5 hours away roughly, but it's a slow drive in the winter. I'll tell you that much. It's a tough drive in the winter. But it's not as simple as that. Like, I don't think I could open a bank account potentially in BC without having a BC residence. I don't know how that works. 2, like, I want to get the funds back to Alberta regardless. I live in Alberta and I'm not moving. So either way, the bank, like the funds have to come into my Alberta bank account. And like, it doesn't really change anything because like what it would really revolve around is having like a second property, like having another home in another province. Here you go. Having another spot in another province where I could then, have that as my main address sort of thing, my mailing address anyways, and change my driver's license and all that kind of stuff. If it's a real issue, we'll see. How quick can you move the family to Saskatchewan? Never, ever, ever am I going to Saskatchewan. I was actually born in Saskatchewan. I have a lot of family in Saskatchewan. But I'm never, ever, ever moving to Saskatchewan. That will never, ever happen. I'm never leaving Alberta. Realistically, it would be really difficult to get me to leave Alberta. If I can cross the border to BC and do drafting, then that's what I'll do. And then we'll kind of take it from there. Win and move to the US. I don't know. I don't think I would do that, but it would be kind of sweet. Like if I had, honestly, if I had my choice, would I live in the States over to Canada? Excuse me, couldn't hit the mute button there. One sneeze. That's the first sneeze I think since I've been back. So there you go. I maybe I would if I had a little bit of money. I'll tell you that much. I definitely wouldn't move to the States broke. I wouldn't want to be, not even like middle class. If I wasn't at the very least upper middle in the United States, no, I'm not moving to the United States. Like ideally, if you're wealthy in the States, yeah, you're having a good time. Nothing in field, Cody. General delivery post PO box option. Yeah, it's a super, super small. It's super small. They don't even have hotels in field. There's probably like 50 people that live there year round or something. I don't know. Super nice. It's at the summit of a mountain, basically. Like it's super nice, but it's tiny. And Golden's only like 20 minutes from field, half hour, something like that from field, half hour tops. You have time to move and attend the Kelsey Swift wedding in NYC rumor this weekend. Yeah, I think my invite got lost in the mail on that one, unfortunately, and I think you need the invite in hand to get in. So unfortunately, I think I'm going to have to miss it this year. That's unfortunate for them, I think, not necessarily unfortunate for me. We are going to do let's go Carnell Tate. I haven't taken him enough, really. 2 teams. Pairs up a Genty, cool. That's not why I'm taking him, but that's cool. Pairs up a Genty week 16. I kind of like that. That's fun. Nice little nugget there. I'm taking 2 wide receivers here for sure. It would have been a Dunze. I could have just taken him off the hop, really, but that's okay. I kind of feel like I have to catch up at wide receiver. So we're going to pull up Parker Washington here. When I have Etienne, I don't necessarily want Jordan Tyson, though I think that could be fun. No, let's stick with Parker Washington. And it's not going to be Harrison with Jeremiah Love. Could have definitely went quarterback there, but I do want to catch up at wide receiver a little bit, so I'm fine with that. That's fun. I've never been so educated about small towns in Western Canada than I have been today. Yeah. There you go. I got more in the hopper if you need it. Who do we got in this draft here? We got Gritty sighting. Hit him with the Gritty. I think that's the longest he's waited to draft a quarterback. He's probably watching right now. So shout out Gritty. Jim W. Is that Jim Wall? I think. Is he watching? Are you watching? Let me know. Gritty, if you're watching, let me know. King Calorie, I think, is probably watching. Shout out. He came on last episode to draft with us. Star Kindler rings a bell. Is that someone I know? I can't recall. Let me know if you're in the draft with me. But I'm pretty sure Gritty and King Calorie are. So you guys can lurk all you want, but I'm pretty sure you're out there. And maybe Jim W. I'm not sure. Do you have time to max Dalmatian, little Dalmatian? I'm not going to do the little Dalmatian. It's filling pretty quick, and I was just going to make rankings and auto draft it, but I probably won't, especially with I have other things to do before this happens. It almost certainly happens. Yes, I have time for the Dalmatian, and I will max that. 3 max, $101 a piece. I love that. That's really, really good. really good structure. So I'll definitely be maxing the normal Dalmatian, the big Dalmatian, but the little Dalmatian I'll probably avoid just because, yeah, I'm going to try to get as many BBMs essentially in as I can before this deadline. It kills me. I would have guessed 1/4 of the room is lurking and sniping. Could be. Usually you see the same sort of names. I guess like 1, 2, 3, 4. I guess 4 I kind of do. So yeah, you might be right. Cheers from Michigan, King Calorie. What's up, man? Yeah, appreciate you popping in. Must be nice drafting where it's legal. Again, it's still legal in Alberta for now. It won't be soon, I'm pretty sure. Auto the little Dalmatian with ranks. I was thinking about it. I just don't know if I'm gonna have time, honestly. Considering, again, I'm really trying to get the drafts in that I can and want to more than the little Dalmatian. I don't want to take the time to put the ranks together. It wouldn't actually take that much time if I'm being honest, especially with the tool that I have, but I just don't think it's necessary. Like that's 4 Best Ball Manias. I'd rather do the 4 Best Ball Manias than the 101 little Dalmatian. You know what I mean? It's 20K up top. Don't get me wrong. That's nothing to sniff at, but I think I need to be focusing on doing these other things while I have a time limit essentially on, facing me. I'm facing a time restriction, time limit. I'm kind of, yeah, it is what it is. I'm just limited. So not much I feel like I can do about that. I want to focus on what's important to me, what I deem important. Caleb would be fun for this guy to get, hey? Is Grady going to take him? Probably not. Takes Dart anyways. With neighbors, I'm assuming? Yep. So Caleb's still there. I would like to take Caleb, but I don't think it makes sense. It makes too much sense to take Trevor Lawrence. And you never know. This guy could just take T-Law to spite me. I would take Naked Williams there, no problem. I just wouldn't want him to, take my guy out of spite. We are going to, geez, I'm just going to pull up Pearsall. I do want to catch up a little bit more at wide receiver, and I think by my ranks, he probably would have been there. I would imagine he'd have been the highest. I should have pulled that up, which is essentially my projections. So, yeah, I think he would have been the next guy up. I'm fine to pull him up there. I don't like this range of wide receiver whatsoever. And I do like Pearsall. I do like Myers. I do like Pittman. So let's do that and see where it goes from there. Auto Alberta lawmakers DFS legal choices. Word. Yeah, I'm going to auto draft that. That's fair. And auto drafted teams won't be getting it down as good. Exactly. I could set my limits, but obviously I can set my limits, but there's obviously times that it's just like, I need to stop at 2 tight ends. I need to stop at 2 quarterbacks, whatever, whether I want to or not. I need to stop at 5 wide running backs, whatever. So yeah, I'd rather not just kind of put a match to $100. I probably would if I had more time and I wasn't facing this, again, deadline. So yeah, it is what it is. Alberta lawmakers should deem Off the Schneid YouTube channel too important. I thought about writing a letter, literally, which is something I would never do. Obviously, I would use ChatGPT to do it, but put out a letter and write an email. And yeah, because I am a content creator. I do, how many hundreds of videos and live streams have I done? I definitely am a content creator. Do I make money from it? No, but that's like kind of all on purpose. Could I make money from this? A little bit. Yeah, sure. But I just don't feel the need. So I that's kind of the like heartstrings I was going to play on. Not that they'll give a shit. Like Ontario doesn't allow this stuff either. And Ontario has more people in their province than the rest of Canada combined. So there's 16 million people in Ontario. There's 5 million people in Alberta. You think they're going to give a shit? Unfortunately, no. Like that, I know they won't. And that's where I'm at. Like, obviously that's very Debbie Downer of me to be, talking like that, but it's the reality. It is what it is, right? Like they're not going to keep it open for little old me. That's for sure. Really, it's the poker guys. It's really like the poker guys that I'm hoping are like spearheading this to make some change. Jaden Reed and his 3 targets per game going in the 80s. Fun. I don't know if he's 3 targets per game. I think he could do better than that. Personally, I don't hate Jaden Reed. I don't hate Jaden Reed at all. At all. This would be a good time to catch up on some Blake Corum. That's for sure. That's pretty cheap to get him there. If Gritty passes on him, I might just have to go down the Blake Corum aisle. Takes Dobbins. Wow. Do I dare this guy to take another running back, especially another bye week 11? I'm going to take Pitts here and dare him. If you take Corum, okay, cool. If you don't, I'm going to take him. That's a little wild if you do. So let's take Pitts, who pairs up with our New Orleans, our Tampa Bay, and eventually our Washington for the Jags. Bring back, takes Kyler. He needs wide receiver pretty desperately. So we'll see what he does. And then I will most certainly be stopping if I get Corum. I'll most certainly be stopping at 5. Could stop at 4 realistically. Silver badge too. That's an odd way to be drafting. Out of week 11 buys. Not that it matters, but he does take Corum. Interesting. I'm going to take Kenny Gainwell then. That's pretty easy for me. Pair him up with our Igbuka. That's what we're going to do. Hang out here because fuck BBG week. I've been live for like, what, an hour almost, and you're just coming in. Where were you before, on BBG's channel or what? Don't lie to me. Don't lie to me. And you can only get so much of me because I might be dead here soon. So you should be, from the second I hit live, you should be in here. I might be on borrowed time over here. I did watch BBG's show with Meg for a bit there, though, personally. I'm obviously not upset about it. So, yeah. Who's your guest today? I was with someone else. Who are you with? Are you on a date? Huh? A little blind date action? A little Tinder date or whatever the kids are doing these days? Bumble, Humble, Grinder? What are you on? All right. I might have made a grave error, but we'll see. We'll see where this goes. I'm hopeful. I'm pretty hopeful. I really would have liked Corum there. That was way past ADP. That would have been fun. This guy, that's a really interesting build for Buddy here. 6 running backs through 10 rounds. And 4 of them have a week 11 bye. Okay. Okay, cool. That sounds fun. Not for me, but that sounds fun. Did BBG really come on your channel? Please tell me that you had BBG on your channel today. Please tell me you did. Or this week at some point. Even if it's not today, you have them on this week. I guess you're doing the Toxic Tower thing. I get that. But the real grave error would not be stopping the Truffle Pigs Bistro and Lodge when you draft best ball teams. Stopping at. Where is that? That's not in. Is that in Field? Where is that? I don't know where that is. You tell me. I feel like you did some Googling, Google Maps. You found a restaurant, plugged it in there, but I've never heard of that place. Maybe I should. Where is it? Let me know. I'm going to go check it out. Give you my review. Andrews goes before the Lamar Jackson drafter. It's unfortunate for him. Wow, and I do get Baker Mayfield to fall back to me some way, somehow. That is just wonderful. Isn't it just wonderful when that happens? It sure is. So let's get Baker. I really like this team now. This is fun. This is a fun team. I really got to try to land the plane on this sucker because I really like it. I could stop at 4 running backs. I feel like maybe. Can I get away with? I think I can. I think I can get away with stopping there. Let's do Rashid Shaheed, getting some positive pub lately. Yeah, let's do Rashid Shaheed. I need wide receiver. I was going to take a tight end there, but I need wide receiver. And I like the Rashid Shaheed click there. Let's do that. Let's do that. Hopefully I can land this plane. I think we're doing all right, but we really got to land this plane. I'm going to stop at 2 quarterbacks there with just Lawrence and Mayfield. I was going to take Cam Ward to pair up, obviously, with Tate. But I don't want to do that. I want to avoid this being a 3-5-7-3. I really don't want to draft that at all. And if T-Law can be what everybody seems to think he's going to be, and myself included, then I should be able to get by with T-Law and Mayfield. And Mayfield's a guy I like to, have basically like a guarantee that he's going to be playing for 17 games. Like I say all the time on this channel, you have to take Baker Mayfield off the field in a fucking stretcher. Literally. He's not leaving the field. So that's comforting when you draft best ball teams with Baker Mayfield on them. It's in Field, hey? It's probably not open in the winter, I'll tell you that. That's when there's maybe like 15 people. The only reason that there's people there is because it's on the train route and it's a train stop. It's the only reason people are there in the winter. But the summer, it's nice. It's pretty gorgeous. It's a good stop for people. That's probably when this restaurant's open. So we'll see. If I can make it all happen, I'll let you know. You're taking me on an adventure. Maybe I'll film some of the drive and we'll post it on the YouTube or on the Twitter machine. Maybe on the YouTube machine. We'll see. We'll see. Baker's incredible value, in my opinion. I like him as well a lot, but I like him a lot better even when he falls like 13 picks past ADP. I like him even more, especially when I'm double stack Gainwell, Buka. I like that. Bring back in Pitts on week 16 and then ETN week 15. That's really fun. Really, really fun. I'm not going to take McMillan even if he's there. I am going to take Chig. I'm definitely going to take Chig. That's great that he's still there. Again, 10 picks past ADP. Let's do that. I need a week 17 stack. I don't have that, and I don't really have that option with the Tampa Bay side. I could go with like Terrence Ferguson, as my bring back, but that's another week 11 buy. I don't like to do that with tight ends realistically. I just don't think it's necessary. So let's go like that. And then it's probably Tucker, though I could go Flournoy, who's also a bring back. I do have Genty. Flournoy or Boston. Let's go Ryan Flournoy. I like that. Bring back from the Jacksonville side on week 16. Giants, there's a lot of Giants you can take throughout the board. Not that that really matters, a little skinny stack, but I think that works. It was either Tucker, but I have Genty. I don't necessarily want to double tap the Las Vegas offense on this team. It's basically Denzel Boston or Flournoy. And we'll see how that shakes out as the season moves on. Baker and Wyndham Clark are Eskimo Bros. Yes, they are. Yes, they are. Yes, they are. Baker would be like every frat guy's worst enemy, you know? Like every frat guy in the States, you're, Oklahoma University, your whatever Omega Zeta, frat party going on. You got your girlfriend there. And or just your girls, you're just there with your sorority girl counterparts maybe, and Baker Mayfield rolls in, you're just like, fuck, man, we got to dodge try to not go for who he's talking to or piss him off. Like he's walking out with a girl essentially, right? So I imagine he was just like every frat boy's worst enemy at Oklahoma. Not that they would like say anything to him. That's for sure. But you know what I'm saying? All right. We're in good shape. I like this team. We're at a 2-4-6-2. Where was I? Oh, I was 3. Maybe I was within my rights through 10 rounds. No, not really, but it's pretty close. It's pretty close. 3, a 1, a 1-4-4-1. Yeah, that's a great start through 10. I like that. I like that a lot. We're sitting at 2-4-6-2. Trevor Lawrence, Baker Mayfield. I'm going to stop there. Genty, Love, Etienne, Kenny Gainwell. I like that. I'm definitely going to go no more than 5. That's for sure. Igbuka, Tate, Washington, Pearsall, Shaheed, Flournoy. I like that. I kind of have to get to 8, I feel like, and then 3 tight ends. I think that's how we got to do this. I don't really need to focus on any sort of correlation anymore. Let's just kind of take the best player available, best player in your ranks, whatever that may be. One more running back, 2 more wide receivers, 1 more tight end, I think is what we're looking at. Gritty with the crazy name. On a train, lost cell service. Phone service after Jaden pick. Killed the draft with all the running backs. I was sandwiched between running backs. We're going to go with Jeremy. It's kind of always Jeremy. Pairs up with Tate in week 17. So that's cool. A little skinny stack. It's kind of always Jeremy. It's always Jeremy Bernard. So let's do that. Yeah, this guy was 6. Gritty with 9. Wow, I didn't see that. Oh, no. Oh, no, that's unfortunate. That is unfortunate. We're going to do Greg Dulcich here. Could go with the Terrence Ferguson, but I just don't want to do that. I don't like to overlap my bye weeks with my tight ends. I have a week 17 stack with the Washington-Jacksonville game I love. Stacked up everywhere else to get there kind of thing. I think we're fine. I'm done at tight end, done at quarterback. 1 more running back, 1 more wide receiver feels like. And then we'll get out of here kind of a thing. We might rip another. What do we have for likes? Let's see. I'll have to say third. How many people are watching? 22 people watching. If we get 25 likes, 25 likes, is that too much? I'm going up against BBG over here, so that's a little bit tougher. 14 likes? That's depressing. 2 Draft Tuesday on a Monday. Lost my own phone and everything. I just made a random YouTube name and account. There you go. I'll take the sub again. Appreciate that. Yeah, it's 14 likes, guys. That's a little aggressively low, if you ask me. 23 people watching, 17 likes. Help a brother out, man. If we get to 22 likes, I think that's pretty fair. We'll rip another Best Ball Mania. If we get to 22 likes. Had my fill for BBG of the day. Yeah, that's fair. Oh, Flock Fantasy is live now too, so that's great. That's great. That doesn't bode well for the numbers, but that's all right. Hopefully people are watching it back, getting some value. 19 likes we're at. 20 likes. 2 more, we're ripping another draft. All right. I think that's pretty reasonable and pretty fair. I think that's a fair number. All right, one more running back, one more wide receiver. That's what we're doing. We're at 21 likes, one more. I liked it myself already too. So one more and we'll do another one. What do we want to do? Where do we want to go? Bye weeks don't matter necessarily. I'm going to take Ollie Gordon. This is kind of the type of team and build that I've taken a lot of Ollie Gordon. So let's do that. And let's take Jalen Noel. I always like Jalen Noel. But he does pair up with the Jacksonville thing. So that's another reason to kind of do it. I think he's a great click down here. And pulling up Ollie Gordon to the top, I think can help us out. Though I do have Dulcich. Do I want to do that? Oy. It's so thin down here. Let's take Damon Claiborne. I've been seeing people like him. Sure. Let's give it a shot. Let's kind of give it a shot. Yeah. Let's give it a shot. If Damon Claiborne's what you need, then there you go. That'd be all right. Fun team. This is a fun squad. I like this one. We did get to the 22 likes. We got to 24. So I appreciate that, guys. We'll rip another BBM. If I say I like you more than my wife at the moment, is that 5? Is that worth 5 likes? I appreciate that. We got to 22. We'll rip another draft. We'll rip another one here. Let's go over the squad. 2583. I wasn't sure I was going to get there to a 2583, if I'm being honest, but we made it happen. Trevor Lawrence and Mayfield, that's a little thin, you could say. I got Mayfield at a huge discount, and it fits my team perfectly. So I really like that to stop at 2. I think I needed it in other spots, namely wide receiver. So I think it was necessary. Tight end a little bit as well. Genty, Love, Etienne, Gainwell, Claiborne. I really like this. I think 4 is fine, and they don't overlap buys, which is nice. And then take just a complete lottery ticket in Damon Claiborne. I think it's kind of fine. It was the same ideology with Kenny Ollie Gordon, sorry. And I actually see the offenses at being like similarly efficient. So I think that it's a similar bet, but I have Dulcich as well. So let's go with Claiborne. Igbuka, Tate, Parker Washington, Ricky Pearsall, Rashid Shaheed, Ryan Flournoy, Jeremy Bernard, and Jalen Knoll. I really like that too. It's a little bit thin, 0 RB type of stuff, or sorry, 0 wide receiver type of stuff. But I think we landed that with a little bit of volume, got 8 in the hopper. Could be wide receiver one, number one target anyways, number one target, wide receiver one, especially with an injury. Like the outs are there, I think. I think the outs are there. I like that. Kyle Pitts, Okonkwo, and Dulcich. I like this team. I'm very correlated in a lot of fun ways. It would have been really nice to get Corum, but if I had Corum, I wouldn't have Gainwell, so that's okay. Yeah, very correlated. I like this team a lot. This is a really fun one. I like that one a lot. Let's rip another BBM. Like we said, I want to make sure we're not still in there. Let's go BBM. 20-second clock. We're in, waiting on 9. If you're in the chat, you want to draft, jump in. Doing a Best Ball Mania. And we're going to update our Best Ball overlay again to get that other draft in there, the one we just did. While we're waiting, doing nothing, shout out Best Ball overlay. My overlay of choice. Promo code OTS in the description. 25% off. Best Ball overlay. 55. This is draft number 57 because I have one slow Best Ball Mania going. So 57 Best Ball Manias. Again, kind of facing a deadline over here. So that's cool. Got some approval. That's good to see. Ayuk Bernard. Oh, okay. I disagree heavily. Even if Ayuk is on the Commanders, it's pretty close for me. But everyone's entitled to their opinion. Jeff's hopping in. Want to rip one BBM with you before the party's over. Appreciate that. Now's the time. I don't know how many more streams I'm going to be able to get in before this happens. If it's the 9th, I think is what they said. If it is the 9th, if we go by the same schedule, we're sitting at 1, 2, 3, 4 more streams total if we stick to the Monday, Wednesday, Friday schedule. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes. We will see how it goes. At the 5 spot, accidental victory. That's you, right, Jeff? Accidental victory, I believe. We got champ times 3 in the 6th spot. Stephen Hines in the chat. If you're in here, let me know, or lurk. Do whatever you want to do. I'm fine if you lurk. Do your thing. You do you, man. You do you. We're at the 5 spot. I updated everything. We're good to go. Do I take a JSN share? Probably. I probably do. This is some of the things I like to get a little bit different. I like to pull up a CMC. I'm never taking CMC at 7. I'll take him at 5 or I'll take him at 9, stuff like that. Pull him up or if he falls sort of thing, I think is the correct way to go with Christian McCaffrey. Amon-Ra, though I'm getting there as far as my exposures percentage-wise. I think it's just JSN, most likely. We'll see how it go. I don't like to take Taylor here. It's either JSN or CMC pretty much every single time. Chase goes. I'll definitely take Puka if he's there, but Sporting Kid, I feel like we'll take him. And then it's just JSN, I think. Yeah, I don't love the schedule for Seattle either. They travel extreme west to extreme east to Philly in week 15. Then they're at home to the Rams, which is a super tough game. Could be deciding a lot as far as the division is concerned. And then they go extreme west to extreme east again to Carolina. So that's just a tough schedule to be playing through for the playoffs for the Seattle Seahawks. But when I was doing my projections, I just don't really see how it's possible to have much of a regression for JSN. So yeah, you kind of have to. Not that I'm thinking he's going to do what he did last year. That's going to be tough to replicate. But I don't see how it drops an extreme amount. I think he's still definitely there for 100 catches potential anyways. Let's say it falls to 1,400 yards and 8 touchdowns, which I think that's pretty on the table. I think you're still doing okay. As long as the consistency is there, I think you're fine regardless. So again, it just feels like it's not possible for him to, deviate too far from what he did last year, kind of a thing. We'll see. But that's only my second share in Best Ball Mania of JSN, so I'm a little bit lower than some other people seem to be. Where do I want to go from here? It doesn't really matter my combos. I really don't care. It's one. I've drafted them one time, so even if I am drafting the exact same team, which I exceptionally highly doubt that's ever going to happen, but it's not the end of the world. Definitely going to take Derrick Henry, though. I like that little fall. I'm happy to scoop some value on Derrick Henry. Let's do that. Especially when you're getting JSN right at ADP. It's nice to get a little faller in the second round just to get somewhat unique a little bit. Not that it particularly matters there, but it's just nice. I'm happy to get Derrick Henry, I'll tell you that. It's going to probably be a bit of a hero RB type of a team. Another first BBM. Jumping in. Appreciate that. I'm living at the 11th spot. All of my drafts except one have been from the 11th spot. So it's hard to draft 0 RB from there. Yeah, I got your name this time. Accidental Victory. I like that. It's hard to go 0 RB from there. Though Lamb was there for you. I would have taken Lamb, that's for sure. Hard to pass up on him for me at 11, but I get it. So we go JSN Henry to start. We can start thinking about a little bit of correlation here if we want to get into that kind of conversation, which we may. We may want to do that. 29 and 44. Josh Allen gets pulled up. That's interesting because he typically goes on the right side of me. So someone should fall theoretically to me. McBride is sometimes that faller. So Devonta Smith or Rashee Rice. And I think I got to take Rice here. He's been rising, so if I can get him as a faller, he's going to be going at 29, a hell of a lot less these days since he was released from prison. So let's bring in Rashee Rice. He projects really well as well in my projections. That's the guy that falls a little bit. Again, he's on the way. He's on the come up, right? His ADP is rising. He'll be at the 1-2 turn, 2-3 turn at least in no time. He's kind of already there. And I think he'll probably get into the second round, I would imagine. That would be my guess, and I'd be willing to wager that Rashee Rice gets into the second round. ADP of 27 right now, so it's definitely not too crazy, but that's 4 spots he's got to climb essentially. So, but I think he'll definitely get there. Didn't want 50% Lamb. I'm mixing up the best I can. Yeah, fair enough. That's a good way to do it. Kind of surprised he didn't snap to the turn quicker. Yeah, I agree. So if I can get him as a faller right now, then you kind of have to. If you can get him at any point behind or after his current ADP, I think that you're kind of printing CLV a little bit right now with Rashee Rice. So I was hoping McConkey would fall to me, but that's exceptionally rare that happens. Just with the Rice thing, pair that up. Bring in Herbert at some point. That's a fun one. And I'm not taking QJ at his current price. I just think that's out of control. So I think that week 17 game stack is kind of off the table, which is completely fine. McMillan is another guy I was hoping paired up with JSN. That's gone as well. Not the end of the world. T. Higgins, gone. That would have been nice with Derrick Henry. So we're going to have to makeshift something else, which is fine. That's pretty easy to do. Not much of a concern with doing that. The Loveland pick, I like that. I was probably going to go there. Do I take Garrett Wilson at a discount? I don't think I do. I think I just go Waddle here. Let's go Waddle. I like him more than Garrett Wilson in a vacuum this year. It's either him or Jameson Williams. Jameson Williams or Jalen Waddle. Let's go J-Mo. Or sorry, let's go Waddle. Let's go Waddle. I think he projects a lot better than Jameson Williams. So let's go down that road. I'm out of control. What does that mean? Thinking I'd get McConkey or McMillan or Higgins? Yeah, that's wishful thinking. That's for sure. All right, we got to put together some kind of stack options. At least start thinking about it. At least start pondering it a little bit. Well, there it is. Let's do that. Let's go Henderson. He's there basically at ADP. 2 picks behind. Cool. Pairs up with our Waddle. Let's do that. That could be fun. Fun squad. Fun squad. Cook, HN, McConkey, Burden. For Jeff, Stephen Hines, Genty pulled up to 6. Don't mind that. AJ Brown, Etienne, Loveland, Swift. Got the double Bears thing going on. Good team to stack. I like the Bears. Big Bears drafter this year. Let's see if there's anything else fun. This is different a little bit. Bijan Love brings up Josh Allen. You see Josh Allen go with the 1-2 turn a fair amount. That's interesting. Sorry, 2-3 turn a fair amount. I like this. I'm not sure I would have went. I would have went a Dunze if I were there instead of Bucky. But the week 16 correlation here between Kenny Walker and CMC, and then week 15 correlation Higgins with McMillan brings in Burrow. Jane Daniels to the McLaurin drafter makes some sense. All right, we are going to do. Parker Washington again. Parker Washington would have been Drake May, but I obviously drafted AJ Brown, so we're kind of battling for Drake May there. So, well, not shocking that he goes. Let's go Parker Washington here. Can always get fun with that. It's a fun build, I think, so far. 0% Jalen Hurts. This could be an okay time to take Jalen Hurts. If he's still there, I'll probably take him. It appeared hard to pass up on Marvin Harrison. I like Tony Pollard. That could work. Yeah. Let's see what happens. Let's see what happens here. Disbanded popping in. What's up, man? On the rare occasions, I go Allen round 3. I think I can isolate decently well pairing Mendoza to late. I don't hate that. I paired up Josh Allen with Cam Ward a few times, and that felt kind of good. I felt that was okay. I like getting Josh Allen the 4th. That happens sometimes, and that feels really good. Feels really good when that happens. I'll have to take Marvin Harrison if he's there. Okay. Then we're going to go with, instead of going down the Trevor Lawrence direction and just doing that again, I do that a lot with T-Law and Parker Washington, especially when I miss out on the stack options and things like that. Let's go Justin Herbert, who pairs with Rashee Rice. I'm not going to be focused on adding probably anything Chargers-wise, though maybe tight end. We'll see. I might just go naked Herbert with some bring back options. Obviously, I have Rice already in week 17. And Johnston, there he goes. Like his price is out of control. So I'm okay with that. I think I might go naked Herbert. Maybe Gadsden at tight end. I'm obviously taking 3 anyways, so that's okay. And maybe I go down that road, but I might just go naked Justin Herbert and have some bring back options for him and just hope that he runs around a little bit more than he already was last year, where he had 500 rushing yards and 2 touchdowns kind of thing. He runs around a fair amount. If he just does that a little bit more and a little more efficiently and with a better offensive line is able to get in the end zone a little bit more, then I think we can work with that kind of situation. The whole Purdy 2 rushing touchdowns week 17 last year, that kind of a galaxy brain ideology. I think it can work. I do. So that might be what happens here with Justin Herbert. Where realistically it was like, yeah, Jeff is probably not happy with me maybe, but he's got a Dunze and Burden, Caleb. That's the focus. Though I'm sure you would have taken Justin Herbert if he was there at 83, Jeff, I'd imagine. But that's kind of the direction that I wanted to go with on that one. That was my thought process and reasoning behind that one. And I just do so much of the Parker Washington, Trevor Lawrence thing. You saw my exposures to both of them, before we started drafting here. So I don't think I need to go down that road again and mix that in again. So we won't. Let's mix it up. Let's get a little unique. Do I take Trevor Lawrence here? I don't really want to then I'll have to take a third quarterback, which I might have to anyways. I'm going to take Ricky Pearsall. Again, that's one of the bringbacks I had in mind for the Justin Herbert conversation. And we'll see what kind of falls back to us. I have a lot of options. I feel I have a lot of options. Good chance this guy takes Mahomes. This guy needs a quarterback for sure. Looks like he's taking Detroit. Wow. He takes Mahomes. Who does he have on Kansas City? Just naked. Yikes. This guy's not happy. Dr. Steve Brule, he's not happy. Josh Allen drafter might push him. Might push. He does. T-Law is still there, man. If T-Law is there at 101, this guy should take T-Law, really. Oh, it takes Goff. That makes sense. Or no, that doesn't. He sniped. No, that does make sense. Yeah. This guy takes Goff and snipes Mahomes on this guy. He should probably take T-Law. I would. He does. Okay. This guy doesn't have a quarterback. All right, we're going to get Brock Purdy. That's really fun. That's really, really fun. I can now stop at 2 quarterbacks. I feel good with that. Though I don't mind doing the Denver, New England thing, but I'm not pulling up Knicks. Like, give me Purdy over Knicks, no question. He was number 1 in my ranks, Purdy. Pairs up with the Pearsall pick. And really, like, you could have flipped those picks if you want to talk about ADP, then it doesn't really matter. Philly and KC. I have the bring back week 16. That's fun. I like this team. I feel like I'm drafting really well these days, and that's this weird thing to say out loud, but I've been drafting a lot of the BBMs lately, and I've been feeling really good about the squads. So yeah, that's good. It's sometimes you draft these, as we all know, sometimes you get through these drafts and you feel like your team's a piece of shit and you just burn $25 or however much money the draft costs, obviously. But lately I've been feeling really good about my rosters, and I hope this one we land this plane. Was hoping to take Herbert and stop at 2, but it happens. I pivot. Exactly. I figured that's what you're trying to do. That's what I was talking about. If you're maybe listening in somewhere else, but that's what I was talking about there is that's what you're probably going to do. But that makes sense. You go Kraft, then you take Love and Golden. There you go. That makes a lot of sense. That's borderline to stop at 2 for me, Caleb and Love. That's pretty. I think it should, in theory, be okay. I got Baker at 131 last draft, so that feels really good. Not that it's a bad pick at 102, because it's not. I'm just saying that's really fun to get him 30 picks past where he goes in this draft, essentially 29 if we want to be exact. But there you go. All right, let's land this plane. I'm going to be done at quarterback for sure. I have so many options. I could just take Kittle here. I think that makes a fair amount of sense. It really does make a lot of no, does it? Does it? I don't think it does, but I might have roped myself into it anyways. Did I get Jordan Mason? I did. Okay. Okay. I kind of like that. I don't think I need Kittle. If he falls to 125, I guess I take him. But I don't think I need Kittle. I'm happy to get a running back there. I'm happy to get a running back. I still am pretty sure I'm going to be naked Herbert here. Pretty sure on that. Could go tight end here, I think is fairly advisable. I'm in a good spot with and 2, 3, 5, 0. One of the 10 round starts I wanted to get to and highlighted in the pre-show. So that feels good. And now I'm going to go as long as he's there. He's not. Mark Andrews is the guy I had in mind. But do I just take Likely? Likely over Ferguson? Let's go Likely. I think that's fine. It was likely, or it was definitely going to be Mark Andrews. That was going to be a smash click there. But he goes to the Bowers drafter, who is also that doesn't make much sense there. If you ask me, I mean, if you're bringing it back or something, like if you have the Bengals, then sure, but that makes no sense. If you ask me, it can work. Drafting 2, well, we talked about it just the last episode, 2 by week 13, 2 whatever. If you have Bowers, you can make it work, right? It's totally fine. Even with Tyler Warren, I think Tyler Warren and Mark Andrews, I think you can make it work, which we did on this stream, right? Though just those 2. But this doesn't make a lot of sense if you ask me. So that's just my 2 cents. I think running back would have made more sense, but whatever. It is what it is. We'll take Likely. It's not the end of the world. I would have taken Mark Andrews, even with Derrick Henry for sure. But we'll take Likely, the former Raven, and feel like we're in a pretty good spot. Then we're going to go probably going to be running back. What are we? 4 picks away. Running back or wide receiver here. I don't think tight end is where I want to go unless I take Gadsden, but I'm just very, very confident I'm not going to take Gadsden. Chig goes, which is fine. I'm not taking quarterback. Whoops. McMillan would have been the click, but with C-Rod there, I think I take him around past ADP. Even with Parker Washington, I think that's a fine team bet. That's for sure. Works for my bye weeks. That's fun. It was either going to be McMillan or Rodriguez, and the decision was made for me. So let's go Chris Rodriguez. Instead of pulling up one of these wide receivers down here. But I'll be taking one of them at my next selection, 149. So that's okay. We can do that. Yeah, we definitely want to be going wide receiver there, though I think we're fairly strong. I think we're pretty strong at wide receiver and running back. Quarterback looks good. Tight end's going to be fine by the end of it. I hope. Tight end might be a little thin, but it'll be a 3 tight end room, so we'll see how it lands. We'll see how that lands. It's one of these two for sure. Doesn't really matter. Let's go with the dome games, the 3 dome games for Naylor. Let's do that over Boston. That's cool. 3 dome games versus 3 outdoor games for Denzel Boston. It's pretty good, easy tiebreaker, I feel like. Fun squad. Again, another one I like. Probably would have liked it more if I had McMillan instead of C-Rod. But then I'm probably making some concessions somewhere at running back down the road. So it's pretty much the same. It's pretty much a wash. I guess with the Baker pick, McMillan is an auto. So that was never on the table. Just like getting Drake May was never on the table. I like the squad though. I think we're in good shape. 2, 4, 6, 1 so far through 13 rounds. This is a room I could, it might be a little thin, but I could maybe stop at 5 running backs. Might be a little thin. I don't know if I can get away with that. I think it's a 2, 6, 7, 3 is what we're looking like. 2, 6, 7, 3. Two, 6, 7, 3. Let's do. I think Tank makes tons of sense. Think Tank makes tons of sense. Pairs up with the San Francisco thing, week 17. If he's somehow the starter at that point in the season, that'd be really fun. Works with my bye weeks as well, so that's cool. And then that changes some things, gives me a little more flexibility, gives me some outs. So that's definitely a little interesting. One more running back, one more wide receiver, two more tight ends is what we're looking like. That's my feel. Interesting spot. I don't think I could go Samson. He goes. That's okay. That's okay. Barner's there. Helm's there. I don't necessarily like Helm in this spot. Barner could be fine. Though I think it's Dulcich to pair up with our Chargers thing. Yeah, let's go Dulcich to pair up with our Chargers little stack idea with naked Herbert. So I have a bring back in each playoff week for naked Herbert, which I like. 2 dome games and then one game in Miami. I like that for the Chargers. It's a lot of travel, don't get me wrong, to get to the Miami game, but they're at home, the other 2 in a dome. Should be a pretty good spot. I like that. Hopefully he runs around in those games. I do have some stack options bringbacks for the San Francisco thing. With Philly, I was going to go with Eli Stowers as the bring back, and I could maybe still get him and just have a double Philly thing potentially. That's not a terrible option, but we'll see. We'll see if another tight end option that's just a little bit better, because this is already somewhat thin with Likely and Dulcich. A lot of question marks on those 2 players. New offenses, new coaches, new quarterbacks, new everything with those 2 players. So if I can get a bit of a high floor type of a tight end, I'll probably do that instead of Stowers. That's kind of what changed for me when I took the Tank Bigsby click. Bye weeks are fine everywhere. No issues there. I don't want another week 8 or 6 tight end bye week. Kate Otten was definitely a potential for me as that steady Eddie kind of. It's exactly why Jeff took him, just steady Eddie kind of guy. Though Champ might have taken him anyways. He's probably done it 2 tight ends. We'll see. But yeah, one more of each running back, wide receiver, tight end to finish this team out. It's a matter of who they're going to be. Who are they? Who are these picks going to be? Jerry Jeudy would be fine right here. I've got a few options. Freiermuth goes. He was definitely at kind of the top of the list, realistically. Jeremy Bernard was there as well. But I'm going to have to take Terrence Ferguson, I feel like. Unless I want to take Stowers. Let's do that. Let's take Stowers here and just pull him up, get our guy, and be done at tight end, because it's really just Ferguson and Stowers. And if they both go, which is very on the table, 2 tight ends here, 2 tight ends here. He's got 2 picks. He's got 2 picks, 2 tight ends here. Both the 13. Maybe he's taking another. Like, that's pretty risky to leave my only kind of tight end on the board. This is what I was kind of planning, but this would have felt a lot better with Mark Andrews in my tight end room. So it's a little bit thin. Can it get there? I think so. It's pretty close. Even if Jeremy, it'd been tough. Like, if Jeremy Bernard was on the board, that would have been tough to not take Jeremy Bernard. But I only have Terrence Ferguson and Stowers. Those are the only 2 tight ends that I'm kind of willing to take there. I guess Ingram, but I already have Waddle, so I wouldn't have really liked that. But that's probably where I would have went ultimately. and watch Terrence Ferguson will still be there for me, but we'll see. Doesn't feel great to pull up Dulcich and Stowers on the same team, that's for sure. Pulled up Isaiah Likely a little bit too. That's a little, doesn't really feel good. Did I get any real value? Chris Rodriguez is nice. That's about it. Purdy got a little bit, not a lot of value here, but yeah. We'll see if, yeah, and Ferguson is probably there. That means Stowers probably would have been there. That's unfortunate, but that's okay. Not the end of the world. It's really not the end of the world at all. I'm going to go Nick Singleton on this team. I kind of think that makes the most sense here. Katron could make some sense. Let's go Nick Singleton. Katron would have been fine. Maybe I should have went with Katron with the Rodriguez thing. But that's okay. Similar bets. Similar bets. But at the end of the season, I think we could see Nick Singleton getting a lot more work just based off of we need to see what this guy has for next year kind of thing. With both of those running backs ahead of him, Spears and Pollard on the last year of their contract. So come weeks 15, 16, 17, maybe we're seeing a lot of Nick Singleton at the end of it. Similar conversations could be made for Katron Allen, and he is probably the best pass blocking running back in this draft class. So that's close. That's a really, really close one. It's a really close one. Could have went a lot of different ways there. It's an okay team. I don't know if I landed the plane completely. There's a couple clicks I probably would have preferred to zag when I zigged. But, and just an extra fall here and there sort of thing. Yoshivas was definitely a guy I wanted to take there. So that sucks. Oy, oy, oy. Let's take a gamble on a guy like Skylar Bell, a rookie that I like. Get another share there. There's other like Elijah Surratt, Malachi Fields. 2 clicks I would have preferred there. Maybe Ted Hurst would have been fine, but I kind of want to really roll the dice here. I like this room up until, yeah, really, I like all of them. I like this room. And then Skylar Bell's just a bit of a lottery ticket. I think that's fine. I like this team less than the first one. 2, 6, 7, 3. We got Justin Herbert, Brock Purdy. I think that's fine. I think that can work. We got Henry Henderson, Mason, Rodriguez, Bigsby, and Singleton. I think that's fine as well in a vacuum. Maybe I could have, Katron here. That's about it, really. But I think that can work. Maybe Katron over Singleton. I don't think that's going to make the difference, though. So that's fine. JSN, Rice, Waddle, Parker Washington, Pearsall, Naylor, and then Skylar Bell. I would have liked if this was Andre Yoshivas, but let's get a rookie. I have Singleton, Stowers, Bell, and that's it for rookies. So yeah, let's get another rookie. Sure, rookie wide receiver on a big time offense. Not necessarily, a route to targets, but you never know. Isaiah Likely, Greg Dulcich, and Eli Stowers, little thin as well, but again, I think it can work. I like this team less, but I think it can maybe do some damage. We'll see. I drafted 2 injured tight ends, so I really felt like I needed the third. We'll take a look in a sec. Katron could be the goal line back. Could be the third down back, really, as well. Just with his pass blocking, he can catch well enough, but he can pass block. So, yeah, he might have a decent role. I would have liked to stop at 2 quarterbacks, but the draft didn't fall that way for me. I was hoping it could shape up to be a 2-6-8-2, but I pivoted and managed the best I could. I think that's the way to go. Let's see what you did here, Jeff. Let's take a look at the 2 guys in the chat quickly. Caleb, Jordan Love, Darnold. It's close. I think it's really close with just Caleb and Love. I think it's defensible to stop at 2. I think you could be okay. I don't mind adding the third either, but it's really fringe. But it's fringe. So Cook, HN, Dowdle, Tracy, Halani. I think that's okay. That's okay. You go back to back. Dowdle, I like Tracy. And then Halani pairs up with Darnold. I'm okay with that. McConkey, Burden, Adunze, double stack Chicago. No Detroit bring back, but that's tough to do. Golden, Shaheed, Adonai Mitchell, Jalen Noel. I like Noel. I like this room. This is fine. I'm not a big Matthew Golden drafter, but I obviously know why you did it with the Jordan Love. Got him double stacked with Tucker Kraft, Kenyon Sadiq, Cade Otton. Kind of giving yourself some outs with Gino, I'd imagine. Maybe Gino got taken. Who knows? But I think you landed the plane with Rashid and then Halani with your last pick. Was it? Yeah. Yeah, I don't mind that. It's kind of a pivot. Just figure it out kind of draft. I think it's fine. Where is Champ? We got Baker and Drake May. So that's similar. That's like right there with the Caleb and Love situation. I think that's fine. I think that's fine. But it's fairly fringe, but I think it can work. Genty, ATN, Swift, Corum, White, and B-Rob, the other B-Rob. I think that's definitely fine. 2682. Yep, I think that's good. Brown, Johnston, Higgins, McMillan, Harris, Bernard, Cup, Butte. Obviously thin. Obviously it's a little thin. I don't think I'm, telling you something you don't know. You went with running backs early, obviously AJ Brown, and then nothing till pick 78, and it was QJ, Higgins, some question marks with even just those 2. Trey Harris, Jeremy. Obviously I like Jeremy. Cooper Cup, Butte. I mean, I think the wide receiver room's obviously the one room that's hurting, but it is what it is. There's always going to be one room that you don't love. There's a couple for me. Well, at least tight end for sure. Colson, Loveland, Strange. I think that's perfectly fine. So good teams in there. Good drafts. Thanks, so let's hope you can do this for years to come. Be positive until then. Yeah, we'll see. I'm nothing's official yet. But like I said, I'm kind of just waiting for that proverbial shoe to drop on my face with the Underdog and Best Ball being dead. We'll see what happens. But we're gonna stream until then. We'll be back Wednesday. I've got hockey tomorrow night. We'll do some Wednesday Canada Day. Happy Canada Day on Wednesday. So we'll probably be back then, ripping some drafts. Couple drafts tonight. I don't know if we'll have a subject to talk about on Wednesday. We might just jump in and do some drafts, try to get some volume in while I still legally can. But we're going to get out of here for the night. Appreciate you guys coming by. Like we always saying, off the schneid. If you're afraid to be wrong, you'll never be right. Hopefully tonight we're right. We win Best Ball Mania.